Okay, thank you so much. We know you are really tired after concentrating so much on these inspirational talks, but we still want to have a very, very short round of questions from the speakers. And then we will have a little break and then a little breakout room sessions. Yeah, so while our professional colleagues is setting up the screen, I want to have a suggestion here that I heard that when people are standing, the meetings are shorter. So what about just asking the presenters to come here, joining us, and really have a very short session. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So maybe just for everyone to know, we will ask Tinatin, Peter, and Guido to join us up here at the session about the building scale and the architecture topics. And we will ask Hannah, Hubert, and Regina to join Yanni downstairs about the urban scale. So my question goes first to those who are coming with me. So Tina, Guido, and Peter. The question is that now we really want to tackle solutions of transformation. And you are all representing very different approaches. So before preparing such refurbishment project, what would you suggest for decision makers and professionals? Which are the most important criteria when they are going for a planning such a project? Who wants to go first? Can you?
Okay, okay. I will try to start. Yeah, what I do think is most important, as I've just mentioned it. Oops. With my last slides is let's ask the dwellers, let's ask the people who are living in these estates, and what are their first needs? What do they feel? What lacks most in their neighborhood? And let's try to do so. And I do think sometimes it's more important than to refurbish the outer shell of the building or all these things.
Thank you. You can follow up on that. I can see that.
Yes, I think I will say the same, because the examples that I showed are exactly like you can learn from them to see like why the dwellers made this change, or even like I was observing that they are changing the interiors, so not everybody has then afterwards like kitchen in the same place, or to leave as much flexibility as possible, because and not only like making it sustainable will make them feel better inside.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also agree with you that we have to start with the dwellers, that who they live. But I see also the danger of this because we know a lot of these participation projects where kind of fake sociologists researchers are making, and the question is more about the color of the pavement or what kind of tree you want to have, but the question regarding the real needs of the space or the real possible influence of how it will be developed is not there, and everyone have feelings like we have questioned the people, but there should be some more deeper research and more deeper discussion with the people, not just this kind of fancy participation.
This is a topic also for tomorrow, but we will continue the session. Thank you. So now János' question.
And now I have a question for you three. Actually, this is a question that I think is a follow-up of section 1 in a sense, but it is much more relevant and can be much easily answered after our session of transformations, is about heritage in face of all of this change. When we talk about heritage, we like to protect buildings, but what do we protect them from? Do we protect them from ceasing to exist, or do we protect them from transition? If such a transition happens, be that the recoloring in very bright colors, be that in the rehabilitation of an urban area, or be that the horrible destruction, and then the question of rebuilding, then what becomes of heritage? Does it add? Can it add to the value? These sort of transitions, or does it take away the possibility of an urban heritage?
Okay, I will start. As I will tell about Ukraine, of course. As I told before, not all Ukrainians like, modernist architecture, really. But, for example, in Kyiv, we have some buildings that people really like, even with brutal facades and gray color and concrete and so on, but people like them. And we had even some protests from active persons, from young architects, if somebody would like to ruin it. So the developers in Ukraine do not understand the value of these buildings at all, but mostly the unique architecture of modernism was made after the competition, so it was the best projects in 70s, for example, yeah? And people feel it, that something is. So my feeling is that if we will make a new function inside and even replanning inside the building, it's no problem, because building has to be in maintenance. If it is still stays empty, it will be ruined by the, rain or snow or something like this. But of course, it's very important to find a way to save this shape, to save this form of it, like special place, like a Guinness Lots of the street or something like this.
Regina? What
the word is heritage. It's kind of tricky, I think, because about housing estates we can talk also about the form, not just the houses. But from my point of view, there are a housing estate that has a good form, but not because of the artistic vision. It's because of the neighborhood planning, the school zones, the livability of the space. It should be remain, because it's really good. And for example, sustainability, urban planning, that also use these typologies or improved these typologies. Other hand, we have also that really large scale artistic housing estate, like paintings, like Új Palota is, for example, such a mega structure where we would like to have really, from the really future, if we come back to the past, we would like to see this cross-section of the streets in the center with the large tall building that is actually a water tower. So we have these type of iconic areas, but it's a kind of tricky question that we would have it like, we have this 40 large housing estate in Budapest, and I think there are just like few of them that could have this heritage protection.
And in my opinion, it is so always heritage protection was selective. That in some cases in 19th century there was regoticization of the cathedrals, and later was the idea that we should protect the churches in the form in which they are now. And same with such settlements. You always have, so there is not one rule. You always have to find the values, and you can discuss. So, for example, for some settlements there will be very interesting wall cladding. So, for example, in Halle-Neustadt you have these special concrete elements by the staircases. So it is for sure to be protected. And in some cases, so for example, it is there is also the approach that during the, for example, in Soviet Union, there were typical buildings, and architects could make the location only. So maybe the layout is to protect. In some settlement, important will be the big courtyards. Or I know one settlement in Warsaw, Wawrzyszew, where there are special public buildings which have with artificial topography plate that they have two ground floors. But I think that so you should to see the values and also see the problems. For example, there are settlements which have a huge parking plots. So for me, maybe in some settlements it should be left as an example, but in other it can be replaced by other elements of development, and also to reintroduce nature. So and for example, to create the integrational public space, in my opinion, you could in much extent change the layout, but it is always should be discussed on the level of each settlement. And last sentence for my too long intervention, that it is also so that I will quote the Alejandro Aravena, who said not to the top down, but also not bottom up, but horizontal approach. That it is that not architects say people what they so not follow what people say, but they cooperate together and together find the solutions.
So maybe in 100 years we will have the reconstruction of the social parking plot in certain areas for heritage reasons.
So thank you very much. Please, thanks for our presenters for this session. So now we will have a break for 10 minutes, and those who want to talk with us, please come up back here, and those who want to talk with them, please go down. So 10 minutes, let's start at 50.
And maybe remind the subject, because it is not the choice by the persons, but by the subjects more.
Yes, so for the two subjects that we're going to focus on downstairs, we're going to focus more on the urban scale of transition and how these large housing estates can renew, not only on construction and building and like building by building, but maybe on a larger approach. And up here, Eszter will lead the conversation about the architectural scale, so renewal building by building, basically.
Thank you.